everybody. This is our last episode of the 30-day boondocking challenge.
Hey, we're done. Last night was night number 30. Mm-hmm. We're ending, as we started, with howling winds.
Yeah.
I would say a third of the days of this month, at least a third of the days, we have experienced howling winds. Like, you don't want to go outside and do anything winds. Like 30, 40 mile an hour
40
gusts.
mile, yeah.
So, anyway, we were supposed to be driving today. Mm-hmm. But we're postponing it till tomorrow. So
actually, and the slide is in again because the wind is hitting it just right. The slide topper was just not happy yesterday. So
we'll go ahead and get going. First is the summary. We had a good time.
Yeah.
No real problems. Saved the batteries. But we, as you already probably know, we replaced those earlier this week. Mm-hmm. So now we're running our Battleborns. We've already actually experimented. We didn't run any generator. Yeah. We got up, we let the solar deal with it, and it left us a little short at the end of the day, and it was like 15 amp hours short of full, so we don't have enough solar to offset what we use during the day and bring the batteries back up.
But it was awesome to not run the generator for a whole day. I mean, just like not at all. And not have to worry about it, especially after we've been running it so much. It was really cool.
Yeah, we're still getting used to the whole, having more amp hours than we use. Mm-hmm. I'm still checking the app all the time, like, oh my god, and it's like, oh wait, we have 300 usable amp hours and we've only used 50. It's like, what's the big deal? So
it's a learning
we're getting
curve.
used to it.
Yeah.
I'm still shocked when I see big numbers like 70 or 80 amp hours used, and it's like, it's like, wait, that's totally fine. So, anyway, other than the batteries, has been great. We've dumped twice during this, so 31 days. We dumped when we left Quartzsite, we dumped when we left Parker to come here. Obviously, we dumped at the RV park right before we went to Quartzsite, so we showed up with clean tanks, and we'll dump when we leave.
And we've only
or when we get to our next destination.
Yeah, and we've only filled up the water twice as well.
Yeah.
So.
We've always had extra water.
Mm-hmm.
When we left Parker after 12 days, we had extra gray tank and black tank capacity. This time we certainly will, because we've been here I think this is 7 or 8 nights. Yeah. So, other than that, it's been fun. I think we're both ready to go hit an RV park, take showers every day, not worry about power, not worry about tanks for a little while.
We feel really, really blessed though, because we actually got to experience a desert bloom and actually were here during it. I actually could see the progression of it, so that was amazing.
If you didn't see it, last Wednesday we did the super bloom video. Mm-hmm. Great drone footage of the poppy fields up on the side of the hill here. By the time you see this, they may be gone, but they're recorded for posterity.
Exactly.
So, we had a good time. No real hiccups except for the batteries. And we dealt with that, and I think that even shows. If you've only got 1 or 2 small batteries and a generator, you can certainly boondock. We did.
Yeah.
You run your generator a lot, but it's totally doable. Mm-hmm. So, with that, we've been promising a Q&A. You guys have sent us a ton of questions. See? Look at all those. We actually got more questions in this, but some of them were very similar, so they've been condensed into a single question. So we even got more than this. So if your question isn't read specifically, you might hear something that's similar to what you said. I think we got them all. If we didn't, sorry. We tried, but we scoured the comments every day and seeing what we got. So with that, I guess we'll just get going.
Yeah, I'm going to read the questions. He's going to answer, and I'll jump in.
Except for a few, because they're
specifically towards me. All right, so let's get started. So what about critters like scorpions, snakes, spiders, grizzly bears, etc.?
I get it if you live in the city or if you live in an area that doesn't have a lot of these critters. You're not used to them. They're not going to harm you. Grizzly bears in general, stay away. Just take precautions.
Yeah.
Don't take your tire covers off or lift up your mats without kind of doing it slowly. Make sure there's no scorpions or spiders or whatever under there. Don't leave food and crap out for bears to get, so on and so forth. It's not really a big deal. They're more afraid of you than you are of them.
Where do you get supplies, water, etc.?
Water we tend to get when we fill up or dump, I mean. Usually a dump station, not always, maybe not even usually.
Yeah.
Often a dump station will also have fresh water available, and we tend to go places where we know we can get fresh water.
Mm-hmm.
As far as supplies, I guess that means like groceries and stuff. It's a regular place. We're never so far out of a city, that you can't run in, even if it's an hour away, and go get groceries or something.
How do we find boondocking spots?
We did a whole video on that, and I will link that in the description and put a little thingy right there.
How do you deal with your gray water?
I'm not sure exactly what this means. We dump it at a dump station.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they mean prior, like, how do we deal with minimizing and stuff, and the whole second video of this series talked about that. But generally we just minimize how much fresh water goes in the gray water tank. Some of it we'll put in the black water tank that we capture from doing dishes or showering.
If the question is asking if we dump our gray water on the ground, we have never done that yet, and so
we never had a need.
We've never had a need to, yeah, because we usually are ready to go after about 10 days.
Yeah.
What about vehicle clearance?
Gas motorhomes, for instance, sit a lot higher than other motorhomes, like a Class C or a diesel pusher. Like some fifth wheels, like toy haulers, sit higher than their non-toy hauler counterparts. Some trailers are low. You just scout ahead. You look. You make sure there's nothing. And honestly, it's not so much the ground clearance; it's your tail overhang. That's what gets most people, is they drag their tail. So. It's usually not an issue.
No, we've had a couple of places where the dip was really kind of a deep dip, and I just got out and spotted for him and told him, the best way to go. So
yeah, we have drug our tow bar.
We have
Slightly, just barely grazed the surface, but we did.
So is there a lot of dust, sand, etc., and does that make it so I have to clean more often? And really, it depends on where we're camping. Yes, there's dust. I mean, you're camping, there's dirt, you bring it in, you bring rocks in. So, I do sweep, every few days just because I can't handle it anymore. But not any more necessarily than in an RV park. I don't think. I usually try and sweep once a week and clean everything off once a week. And so I pretty much do it out here too, about the same.
Yeah, and it really depends. Like, you're in the Pacific Northwest, there's no dust, there's no gravel, there's no stuff like that. But when it rains, there's mud. So, yeah. It's everywhere. But you just deal with it. And we've had the problem in RV parks that don't have concrete or paved. Yeah. Same problem.
How many watts of solar amp hours in your batteries?
We have 300 watts of solar. We used to have about 120 amp hours, usable amp hours in our batteries. Now we have 300 usable amp hours, so more than double.
How do you stay warm at night?
Blankets primarily. Mm-hmm. We have a big comforter we bought. What did it cost us? Like $150 or something.
Yeah, it was kind of expensive.
And it's only the moderately warm one.
Yeah.
And it keeps us plenty warm down to, 40 degrees in here.
It's a synthetic down, and so yeah, it's fantastic. I'm so glad we bought that. Last winter boondocking we were cold. This winter I was never cold, not once.
Yeah, we also have a Mr. Heater, Big Buddy heater. We have our heat pumps. We have our furnace, which we use if we need, sometimes in the mornings when the generator's on. Yeah. We'll fire up the heat pumps if it's cold.
Yeah, just to take the chill off.
Yeah. So, but primarily blankets.
Do you run your air conditioner very much?
No. Same with that. We usually stay cool by opening windows and turning on our vents, our fantastic vents, and moving air through the coach. If it gets over 80 degrees, it will get a little uncomfortable in here. If it gets over, if it gets up towards 85, 90 degrees, it can be uncomfortable. But as soon as the sun goes down, it does it. And we just try and avoid those. But no, we don't. We have, when it's just been brutally hot, we'll just fire up the generator, run the air conditioner, and cool it off in here. Because sometimes it's just too hot.
Which direction do you typically face when you're parking, and does it matter?
It matters for us. Mm-hmm. It may not matter for everyone. Our solar panels are nestled between our two air conditioners, our skylight in our shower, and our two vents. Mm-hmm. And they get shaded a lot if you park. We usually face the door side south-ish. Doesn't have to be exactly south, but south-ish. That also keeps our residential refrigerator on the north side and so it doesn't get sun. Even in summer, it won't get sun. But the solar panels, that's the mostly clear shot to our solar panels during the best part of the day. But for a lot of people, it may not matter. It just depends where your solar panels are.
All right, do hummingbirds hum because they forgot the words?
No.
Do you ever get bored out in the desert?
No. No more than we would anywhere else. There's plenty to do out here. Hiking, and then we live in our house. We have computers, we have TV, we have iPads, we have phones. We have all kinds of things to keep ourselves entertained. So.
And we have the beautiful desert to go hiking and explore.
Yeah.
So,
and here, you can go outside, sit outside, watch sunsets, go hiking. We arguably might have more to do out here. Yeah. Because we can still go on our adventures and do stuff. So, no, we don't.
Can I boondock without solar panels?
Yes. We didn't. But, I think we did show. We had literally about 25 usable amp hours of battery before we changed out. And even at night, we were having to run the generator, like at dinner time and then before we went to bed to make it overnight. Yeah, lots of people go out here and just run your generator. I mean, smaller rigs have the little portable Hondas to charge their batteries. It's totally doable. Some people will tell you not to do it because, you're rude and whatever. Don't listen to them. No. Go out, enjoy yourself. It's public land. There's no rules about generators. Go out, just be courteous.
Is there some way to run my 110 volt outlets off of batteries?
Yes, it's called an inverter. Many RVs come with an inverter of some sort to run something. Ours runs our dining slide where our TV and our Blu-ray player and some of the outlets and stuff. That's where I plug my computer and everything. And we have another one that runs our refrigerator. But it's an inverter, and it converts 12 volt power to 120 volt power. You can buy portable ones that you can plug into a cigarette lighter, or you can have them installed in your coach. There's even whole house inverters that will power everything in your coach.
So where were we located when we shot those videos?
The first 2 videos, I think, well, they're kind of mixed, but I think the first 2 videos we were in Quartzsite at Plamosa Road. The second video, part of the second video and part of the third video, and maybe the fourth video, I don't know. We were in or near Parker, Arizona. Yeah. We're actually in California, and that's all we're going to say because that's our secret boondocking spot. Here we were on Route 66, just outside of Golden Shores, maybe 12, 15 miles from Oatman.
Dan, do you water the bushes to extend the life of our black tank?
I don't, but Jen did. No. No. Occasionally, yes, I will go pee outside. I usually don't make an effort to go do it, but if I'm already outside, yes.
And it's not that I can't, I just choose not to.
Right, she has.
And I have.
Usually not here.
No.
We're around the coach, but like if we're out in the Jeep or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do what you gotta do sometimes.
Exactly. What about internet and TV?
From the standpoint of boondocking, it's no different than anywhere else. Satellite, you can pretty much get it everywhere. You have a clear view of the southern sky. We don't have satellite. Over-the-air TV, if you've got local stations, doesn't matter.
Holy cow.
What the hell was that? Sorry, I was talking about over-the-air antennas, and our antenna, the wind, made it vibrate and scared the crap out of us.
Yeah.
Anyway, over-the-air antennas work wherever there's stations. You don't have to be in an urban area necessarily. We've got TV the few times we've done it, like way out in the middle, it's out of our Parker boondocking spot. We watch the Super Bowl, so it's doable. Internet. Some of the best internet we've ever had has been boondocking because the towers aren't congested. But there are places where you can't get internet when you're out boondocking. So it just depends. But you have access to internet and TV just like you would anywhere else. Just no cable.
Are you allowed to dump your gray water while you're boondocking on BLM land?
Generally, yes. There are places and states that have laws against it or regulations against it. Like in Quartzsite, you're not supposed to dump your gray water because it gets so heavily used. But lots of BLM and Forest Service land, you are. Just be smart about it. Don't dump your whole 80-gallon tank on the ground all at once. Do it slowly, move it around, don't oversaturate the ground. But yeah, you are generally.
How much do you typically spend for 30 days of boondocking?
Between gas for the generator, dump fees, and that's about it, honestly. Maybe a little bit of propane, $100-ish. Depends on, what you do, how often you dump, stuff like that. But how often you run your generator, but $100 maybe. off the top of my head.
Have you ever got low on gas while you were out boondocking?
No, we have not. We always fill up. We won't park to boondock even for one night with less than half a tank. And most rigs won't let you take gas out of the tank below a quarter tank. So once it gets to a quarter tank, it stops. In fact, the actual pickup for the fuel in the tank is a couple inches above where the quarter tank mark would be. It's impossible. We just don't park with less than a half tank, so we've never had the problem, and we don't ever plan to. That's our fail-safe.
What soap do you find best for hard water that easily rinses off for both hand washing and showering?
No idea, because we've lived with hard water our whole lives.
Yeah.
We've always dealt with it. It's not a problem for us.
We just use regular, Dawn to do the dishes and like Oil of Olay body wash for the shower, so.
I'm sure there are some soaps that are better, but you'd have to go ask some hardcore boondockers who are really trying to extend their time out here or extend their tanks or whatever. That's not us.
Do you use portable propane heater at night?
We have a few times when it got really cold, but we never use it when we sleep.
Right.
There is a chance they do deplete the oxygen in the air, and you don't want that to happen when you're sleeping. You could not wake up.
Yeah.
Now, does that happen often? No. Do people do it? Yes. We choose not to.
Yeah.
We'd rather be, in this case, safe than sorry. So, no, not when we're sleeping, but yes, we've done it a few times at night. Just crack open a window to get a little air in here.
Why not use your refrigerator on propane to save power?
Our refrigerator doesn't use propane. We have a residential refrigerator, runs on 120 volt household current, just like your house. We have an inverter that allows it to run off our batteries. So we don't have that option, and we don't miss it.
No.
We love our residential refrigerator, and it's totally worth the extra amp hours.
Do you do anything to prevent mice, etc.?
Nothing actively. Passively, we keep our trash sealed up, and we don't leave food and stuff out at night. Like if we've been out there, eating peanuts or something. We don't leave peanut husks all over the place and things like that. So, no, we don't really do anything actively.
Can you think of a reason/scenario for having a traditional RV gas/electric refrigerator in a new motorhome?
In a motorhome specifically, no. I guess I would. The caveat being, if you have a smaller motorhome, so it doesn't say Class A. If you have a smaller motorhome that doesn't have a lot of roof acreage up there to put solar panels, and you only have, say, 2 batteries, and you want to boondock a lot, the propane refrigerator might be a better option. On the other hand, if you have plenty of space up there to put solar panels and you've got 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 batteries, because some of the big diesel coaches have up to like 16 golf cart batteries, there's no reason not to get the residential refrigerator. They're better, they keep things colder, there's no risk of fire, blah 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 blah. They just run.
Yeah.
You just have to be able to replace the amp hours.
How long can we stay out without dumping our tanks and resupplying?
Without dumping our tanks, we can go the magical 14 days. We never have, but we've had the extra capacity. We could have done it.
Yeah.
We usually want to leave after 10 or 12 anyway. Like even right now, we've been here, we've seen stuff. It's like I'm ready to go right now.
Yeah.
We would be gone if it wasn't for the wind. But we can definitely go 14 days without too much. Without giving up too much.
What is your meal routine while dry camping? And since I predominantly do most of the cooking, I'll go ahead and start this one. For the most part, we do try to grill outside because that way, especially when it's warm, the heat of cooking is not in here, it's outside. So we'll grill some kind of protein and have some vegetables or something. But pretty much everything that we normally cook, we do. I mean, we make salads, we do, pasta once in a while. We do, eggs and bacon for dinner sometimes. Yeah. I mean, whatever it is that we're going to do, we do.
We don't change a whole lot. We just, we have done it. We just don't plan a lot of meals that require the convection oven or the Instant Pot.
Yeah.
But we still can do it. We just have to run our generator for a while. But, just the convection oven is really inefficient as far as getting up to temperature.
Yeah.
And it can run for like 30 minutes or more just to getting up to temperature, and we just tend not to use it. So.
And quite frankly, the Instapot, I do love the Instapot, but it is hard to clean, especially when you're boondocking, you're trying to conserve water. So I don't like to use it when we're boondocking because of that reason.
And on that note, we do use a lot of paper plates and things like that when we're out here. We do a lot of one pot meals just to cut down on dishes, because doing lots and lots of dishes is gonna, take away your tank capacity and make it harder to stay out here.
Are you worried about vandalism or theft while you're away?
No, not any more than you would be worried about leaving your house to go on a vacation.
I would say the place where we're boondocking now is literally right off the road of Route 66. So we aren't going to leave anything out that's going to tempt anyone. We won't leave our barbecue out. We won't leave, our propane fire pit or anything like that out, because that's just like asking for something to happen, in my opinion. So you just have to be smart about it. I mean, when we're in Parker, we leave everything
when
out.
we're out by ourselves, we leave everything out.
Yeah.
Courtside, because there's other rigs around us, they tend to keep an eye. If somebody pulls up in a pickup, starts throwing stuff in the back, people notice, take license plates. We're out by ourselves out here. There is a road. Like Jen said, we just take reasonable precautions.
Yeah.
But if somebody wants to break in or tag, we can't stop them, and we're not going to live our lives like that.
No.
That's what insurance is for.
True.
So we just go do our thing, and if something bad happens, and we'll deal with it.
Alrighty, here we go. Is your sex life better while you're out boondocking compared to RV parks?
So as not to embarrass the wife here, I will say that yes, boondocking, you have a lot more privacy.
And freedom. I will say freedom too. You have freedom to, walk around your couch with your windows open after you take a shower and not be like, oh my gosh, can the neighbor see me? Or, so yes, you have more freedom.
Right. Not everywhere. Some,
everywhere.
like if you're in Courtside during the Big Ten, it's almost like being in an RV park, and it's like the same. But most places we've stayed, we're far enough away from people or just flat by ourselves. You have total privacy. And like Jen said, the freedom, you're not really worried about it. You're not worried about if your day shades are up at night.
Yeah.
We usually close the night shades anyway, just to keep it dark in here in the morning. But, if we forget, it's not the end of the world. We're not like, oh my God, somebody saw us walking around naked before we got in bed last night. There's nobody out here to see us.
He actually has a really good analogy that he used.
Remember what it was like before you had kids. You had sex whenever and wherever you wanted. Then you had kids.
Yeah.
And then it was like you were being quiet and you only did the bedroom with the door locked, and that's what the difference is.
Yeah.
Boondocking largely is like before you had kids, you do it whenever, wherever you want. And RV parks are generally like when you have kids. You can do it, but you got to be quiet, you have to be a little more discreet. So that's kind of
It was a good analogy.
Yeah, between this question and the threesome suggestions with Inside and Outside Jen, you people are freaks. So.
Okay, on that note, how big are your tanks?
We have a 75-gallon freshwater tank and an additional 6 gallons in our hot water heater for a total of 81 gallons of fresh water. We also carry 8 gallons of drinking water. We've already said this, but I'll say it again. We have a 60-gallon gray tank and a 40-gallon black tank.
What is your favorite thing or item of boondocking versus your favorite thing or item of full hookups?
I'll answer this first. My favorite thing about boondocking, 2 things, are the solitude, being out here alone, not having a lot of people, and the peace and quiet. At night, it is usually dead quiet, and it's fantastic. Full hookups. Having power, having water, not having to worry about your tanks, just doing whatever you want, like you lived in a sticks and bricks house. That's nice. We don't need it to enjoy life, but it's nice. It's a nice luxury.
So my favorite thing about boondocking is actually being in nature, like opening your window and having amazing landscapes right there, and being able to explore, just go out the door and go for a hike. That is absolutely my favorite part about boondocking. And I have to agree with him. Being on hookups, not having to be constantly concerned about the water. I can take a little bit of a longer shower. I can do dishes and not be so diligent about turning it on and off, even though I still do. But Yeah, just having that freedom of not worrying about your power. It's freedom of both ways, actually.
There's one more question, and then Jen gets to say her thing.
Okay, so the last question is, what's the big push for boondocking? Are you not Thousand Trails members?
I thought this isn't like a boondocking question, but I thought it was...
It's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. One, Thousand Trails are not everywhere.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, you can't boondock everywhere.
Yeah.
So when you're here in Arizona, the deserts of California, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, blah, 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 there just aren't Thousand Trails, but there's plenty of boondocking in those states. Conversely, if you go up to the Pacific Northwest, Florida, the East Coast, there's not a lot of boondocking in those areas, you know, especially right along the coasts. But there's plenty of Thousand Trails and Encore parks in those areas. So it's kind of, we use them when we're in different places. Mm-hmm. You know, when we're in a place that doesn't have boondocking, well, Thousand Trails are not always, but generally there. When we're in a place without Thousand Trails, we look for places to camp for free. To minimize, not that we need to, we can afford a regular RV park.
Yeah.
It's just why, if we can boondock, why wouldn't we? To save the money, and we kind of like it anyway.
Yeah.
And if not, then we'll use Thousand Trails when we can, because that saves us money. Next, the other reason is because we like both.
Yeah.
We like boondocking, and we like being in RV parks for different reasons, which we already kind of talked about. Boondocking, it's the peace and quiet, the solitude, the views, just, you know, being out here, whether it's a desert or the mountains or whatever, and being away from people, and it's more like camping. RV parks, yeah, they're more crowded and stuff, but they have amenities. They have laundry rooms, they have pools, they have hot tubs, they have hookups, you know, sewer, water, you know, electricity, the whole bit. And a lot of times they're in places where you have access to dining and more stuff to do, or at least different stuff to do. Yeah. Shopping, etc., etc. So like our next stop, we're going to 1,000 Trails.
We are.
We're gonna shop our butts off because we've been out here for a month, and we've had very little access to, you know, we've had Walmarts and we've had Safeways, but, you know, we haven't had Trader Joe's, we haven't had Costco, we haven't been able to go to other places. Jen needs new shoes.
Yeah.
There aren't any really good shoe stores out here.
Nope.
We need some other stuff, you know. I mean, luckily we found the stuff for our batteries, but that's part of the reason we were gonna do it at our next stop when we got into RV park, was because I wasn't sure I could find everything I needed. Yeah. Luckily I did, but so that's the reason. We don't exclusively boondock, we don't exclusively do Thousand Trails, we do both when it makes sense, but that's why we have both. We have two options. So,
and honestly, that's the best part about this lifestyle, honestly, is that you can choose how you like to camp and what you like to do. Some people predominantly boondock, some people predominantly RV park. We choose to do a mix of both because that's what we like. And
I will flatly reject, not someone's choice to do what they want to do, but I would flatly reject anyone who would look at you and say, you know, oh my God, you stay in 1,000 Trails, they're dumpy and crappy, you should boondock because that's how you save money, and boondocking's the best and the only way to RV, or vice versa. You boondock, that's what losers do. We stay in fancy RV parks all the time. You're an idiot. Flatly reject that. You do what's best for you. We like a mix of both, and that's, like Jen said, the beauty of the lifestyle. Yeah. We can do what we want. We enjoy boondocking. We also enjoy the luxuries, relative luxuries, of an RV park. Mm-hmm. We go back and forth, and we will continue to do that because that's what we like. We kind of like that mix. Exactly. You know, and one helps us appreciate the other. Definitely. We're going to super appreciate all the power and stuff. After a couple weeks, we're going to be, man, I need to get out of this place. It's crowded and loud, and then we're going to really appreciate boondocking again. I don't know if it'll even be a couple weeks. So with that, Jen's going to say her thing. We're going to let you guys go. This video did go a little long. It is shorter than take number one. Yeah. I'd say 2 because there was a first take, but that didn't last very long. Take 1.5. It's not like 40 minutes like the other one was going to be. So with that, Jen's going to say her thing. We're going to let you guys go. Thank you for watching this boondocking challenge. Mm-hmm. I hope it helped some of you. I hope it was entertaining. I know it's entertaining. You guys love Inside and Outside Dan and Jen. Yeah. Will they make another appearance? I don't know. You never know. You never know. So
On that note, as always, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for all your amazing questions and all your comments, and we will see you all down the road. Bye-bye.
Bye.